Hey everyone, it's Tim again here. And today I'm going to talk about the 4Ws. That's Whiners, Wimps, Warriors, and Winners. I mean, a lot of people know what these are because nobody likes a whiner, and there's really not much you can do with a wimp. But interestingly enough, we see all four of these in the Bible. First off, nobody, there is no one who was a bigger whiner than the children of Israel. You brought us all the way out here in the desert for us to die out of slavery, and now we're just going to die out here in the wilderness. There's no food, there's no water, our pets' heads are falling off. Nobody got that reference. I mean, just wine after wine after wine. And yet it got to the point where God pretty much just had them wander around in the desert for 40 years until that entire generation passed away and he brought a new generation of Israelites in. Think about that. The first generation of God's chosen people missed out on God's promise because they wouldn't stop whining. How many times have we gotten upset and we started complaining and we started whining to God instead of letting Him do what He wants? The second is pretty much a wimp. And the person I keep thinking about is Barak. I mean, the prophetess Deborah tells him it's time to go to war. It's time to defend your kingdom. You're a king. And he goes, well, I'll go if you go with me. It's the king's job to defend and go to battle. What do you mean I'll only go if you go with them? Wimp? Not only that, but yeah, Barak does get praised as a good king, but he doesn't earn the credit for the victory of the battle. That goes to a woman named Jael, who decided that she was going to take a tent stake and drive it through the enemy's king's head just because she didn't like him. Jael was also married. Think about that. So, how do you think the marital spats went after that? But at the same time, this should have been Barak's victory. I mean, Barak was the king, and usually that is a warrior. If a nation wins, it's always the king that's given credit. But he forfeited his victory the second that he was too scared to go on alone. Then we have the warrior, Samson. And I'll get to him here in a little bit because it does kind of go with David, but Samson is pretty much a reminder that just because you're strong and just because you're good at war, that's not always everything. And then we have the winner, David, the man after God's own heart. Now, here's the thing. Isn't it interesting how warriors and winners seem to have a very similar weakness? And no, I don't mean the one that everyone's thinking when I said that. It's the weakness of overconfidence. Think about what got them to the place they are. King David, the best king Israel ever had, the man after God's own heart, is walking around the roof of his house when he should be in battle? Okay, time out. You know what your responsibility is. Every king goes to war with his army. What possibly in your right mind would ever make you think that staying home and taking a stroll on the roof of your house at nighttime, which is a good idea? Okay. Everyone knew that people bathed on the roof of the house, and it was usually at nighttime because everyone was either inside or bathing themselves. No one was going to see them. That's the thing, though. To fall in sexual sin, you have to set yourself up for it. And Samson, cigarettes and whiskey and wild, wild women. What's funny is technically even I'm too young to understand that reference, but I'm from Oklahoma, first off. Notice my shirt. And second, I'm from a family of hillbillies. I definitely know hee-haw. But anyways, Samson wasn't exactly... He was and he wasn't a very good role model for... Especially not for the younger generation. Because when you think of that, his famous rhyme is, out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet. You know where he was when he came up with that? He was drunk in a bar. And he was gambling with the enemy. Think of that. A lot of times, winners and warriors both will become so full of themselves that they forget who their life belongs to and who led to that. So yes, you can tell, you can get on to the whiners and the wimps because they were too scared, but the warriors and winners aren't exactly immune themselves. That's all I have for this time. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.